discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BG The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are continuing our top 100 games of all time. This time we are now breaking into the top 50. So, I don't remember who started the last ones. I'll start this one. At number 50, real quick.
Oh yeah.
I have two new games this year. Two new games this segment.
I have two as well.
Awesome. Good deal. So this one was kind of all over the place. More mainly sad, but as with everything, like the list has already changed.
Yeah, I know.
It's like basically you make it, then you're like, this is already different.
Yeah.
But my number 50, my 50th favorite game of all time was number 45 last year, so it fell 5 spots, and it was number 39 in 2017, and that is Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders is your atypical card drafting game, your Civilization card drafting game, where you are handed a hand of cards, and then you are picking one and passing it on, and you go through 3 ages, and the cards get better and better. Multiple ways to get victory points in this, like multiple end game scoring. You can go science or military, or the blue, which is like religion, I think, culture probably. I think
It's like a civilization, like monuments.
Okay. Yeah, and those are usually throughout the game, victory points. Seven Wonders is like a staple in board gaming. Like we were just talking about, it came out in 2010, so it's hung around for 9 years and is still going strong, getting support. I've played with Babel a couple times, and I really don't care for it much.
What part? Because it was modular, so.
The
actual thing on the middle.
the main thing for it. I just thought I made the game too kind of convoluted.
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, but the newest one, the Armada one, is really cool because of the different lanes that you can go for different benefits of which, depending on which track that you go up, and then it adds sea combat, which is different. So you could be bad in land combat but be good in sea combat and kind of offset your like the negative points you might be getting. So, I mean, this game works wonders with any number of players. I've never played up to 7, but I have. I've done 5. 5 is like my max.
Many times.
Really?
Yeah.
These kinds of games where it's like, oh, your neighbors benefit. Like, I really like it at 3 a lot because then everyone's affecting everyone. 4 is really, still pretty good too. It's just you and the diagonal person isn't gonna touch one another. So
I like how 7 works because it actually feels like it's funny because you're sitting around, so it's like a world because you're only going to trade with people close to you.
Right.
But I'm over here in America, you're China, I'm not going to trade with you because you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's why that's like when you have that 7 players, that's kind of how that.
But even though it's thematic, like I just feel like that's like, it's not good game mechanics. It's like, hey, buddy, I don't even know who you are. I'm never going to interact with you. Glad we're playing a social game, But that's just me. So my number 50, Seven Wonders.
My number 50 is new to the list. It kind of surprised me it jumped up this high, but it is I don't think you like this game as much as I have so far, and it is Call to Adventure.
Oh, wow. Really?
Right in at number 50. I liked this, how it just kind of jumped in. Plus, you can play it solo. Again,
okay.
It's another one of those you can play solo. But it was just unique. It was kind of like another variant of Role Player in a way, where you were creating your hero. You could choose to go down the evil side or the good side. You were doing set collection stuff, which allows you to roll when you're trying to do skill tests or whatever. You're rolling the runes to try to get your successes or not. And then by the time the game's over, you can kind of see how your character
went.
How
you progressed.
Yeah, how you progressed, whether you... and you have to kind of loosely connect the dots, and stuff. it's just it was kind of a I don't know what the staying power of a game like this is.
Sure.
You know, I haven't played the expansion to know if it adds what it adds to it or whatever.
Not a whole lot, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you just add more cards.
I mean, that's really all it
whatever
does.
else.
Yeah, it doesn't add like any new characters. It gives you a different type of like it gives you like companions and things like that, but
yeah,
I didn't much care for the game.
So this may be where it stops. You know,
I assume it'll probably fall.
Yeah, because a lot of my stuff falls.
Yeah, same here. It's depressing.
So we'll see how it goes. But Brotherwise Games, you know, this is probably because they've had Boss Monster and
that's funny.
And they've done Unearth.
Oh, okay.
Which is another game that's a lighter card game, stuff like that. So it's kind of a neat little game, you know, character creation. I just like the whole light and dark deal to it and stuff, and how you start off as a peasant or a farmer or whatever, and you just kind of go. Yeah. You know. So.
All right.
My number 50.
All right. Good deal. Adventure. My number 49. The game that essentially broke into the top 50 games of all time. Was number 85 last year, so it rose 36 spots. And it was number 21 in 2017, so it fell 28 spots. So it's kind of like in the middle of like everything, and that is Roll for the Galaxy. So Roll for the Galaxy is one of those games that every time, like it's hard to get to the table to play with other people, because like when you see that screen, it's just like, dear God, it just looks way more complicated than it actually is. But every time I play it, I'm always reminded about how fantastic this game is. And I've never played Race for the Galaxy, so I don't know like how it compares or if Race is better. But I just think Roll is phenomenal. Like I like the dice, and like even though it's like you're rolling them and it's luck, you have so much manipulation over the dice and what you want to do. Like the fact that it's like, well, dang, I rolled a settlement die, and then you've been like, oh, they might settle, so you still get to do actions based on what other people decide to do. Love the tableau building, the variety of different actions and abilities that you can get. The expansions are really, really good. The Ambition expansion, which adds objectives and then also gives you more ways to get money. And then the Rivalry expansion, which adds the customizable dice and the trading market, so more interaction between players. It's like, even though their expansions are kind of expensive and the game is kind of expensive, like, it's always solid. Like, the game has just been amazing ever since I got it. So that's my 49. Roll for the Galaxy.
My number 49 was 40 last year.
Okay.
And was 28 the year before. So it slid down. There are 2 expansions out for this game that I haven't purchased yet, so I'm assuming that once I get them, it'll get it to the table more. And it is Isle of Skye from Chieftain to King.
That is a good game.
Yeah.
I need to own that game. I don't know why I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of uses the it looks like Carcassonne.
Yeah.
The little tiles, you know, and it has the really cool mechanic of you know, you draw these tiles. You're gonna choose behind your screen what ones you're gonna wage your money for, and then you're gonna put an axe. I believe.
I think it's an axe, yeah.
By the one that's gonna get done. Once everybody's divvied out their money, you remove your screen. Any of them that have the axe go back in the bag, and then becomes the auction phase. Now, when you put your money down on these tiles, that's how much you are saying you're going to pay for them. And everybody else can offer to buy them at that cost. So you have to really balance whether you want to wager because money gets really tight in this game, late game.
Yeah, it does.
So like if you put 4 coins on this and you're just trying to get somebody to buy it. But they don't. Then
like,
you have
tile
this tile.
shit.
It may be a crappy tile, but you may look and see kind of what, because their civilizations, kingdoms, fiefdoms, whatever they are,
would be the closest one.
Are out in open sight, so you can kind of see what they may be looking for. But then if you put 4 coins on something and somebody wants it, they'll buy it. You get your money back and the money that they pay for you. So you can kind of, the economy's really tight. And then there's scoring deals out here. So depending on the round, like A may score, and then A and C may score on the next one, and those are determined at the beginning of the game.
That's my favorite mechanic is the way that because it's like you can go early game for like A, and in late game you're like,
and then A doesn't even do anything right, and so and there's catch up mechanics, like you get if you're in last place you get more coins.
Oh, you're right.
At the start and stuff. It's just really tight, and everything looks cool and everything. So, and there's the 2 expansions. There's like the Journeyman expansion, I think, is one. And then
I have no idea. I didn't even know there were expansions.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, and I need to pick them up because it just adds more tiles and more scoring tiles.
Oh, neat! Yeah.
So it gives you more stuff. But anyway, Isle of Skye, I know it will come up if I get those expansions and stuff. But it's a really cool game.
Yeah. I need to own it. It's not even anywhere in my top 100 because since I don't own it on Board Game Geek, then I'm like, oh, well, I don't know.
Right.
So my 48 is new to the list, and this one was I was blown away by how solid this game was whenever I played it, and it is Great Western Trail. Which initially, when I first saw this game, because this game was like, what was it, 2016, 2015, 2016?
It came out right after Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
It was what came out like shortly after. I'm talking like 3 or 4 months after Terraforming Mars, because it kind of got overshadowed.
Yeah, and I remember watching a run through for it, and I was like, "You herd cattle? No thanks." Then I got it, and I was like, "This is amazing! Like, okay, I need to get this type of cattle. Like, just." It's almost like a point. Well, it's not really like a point salad game, but like the fact that you are moving up through this trail, and it's like set collection with the cattle that you can turn in to get quite a bit of points. But then you can also stop and play and build certain locations that can hinder some people if they're trying to walk through that or have to stop, or they can pay and they can still use your buildings and all that. And then you can go up, and then you have a train. Like a track that you can like move forward, which can get you a bunch of points if you go that path. I was just gobsmacked by how amazing, and this game is kind of complex a little bit, but just by how it felt like innovative. And I played it this year, and I was like, this is amazing, and I immediately got the expansion for it. So haven't tried the expansion.
I think what happened with that game, since it did come out, because the same company released Terraforming Mars and it, because they're both Stronghold.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, Terraforming Mars had such a splash that's why it took this one. Because this one's like number 30 on BGG,
something like
I think, but it wasn't. Like, I think it took longer for it to come around, because once people got settled in and everything with Terraforming Mars, then it kind of rounded in, and now people are seeing how good of a game it is.
That's true.
And that's why it's catching up. Plus, when you had to pick between the two, since they came out so close together, people are going to choose the Mars one.
This is number 10. 11. 11. It jumped up.
So Stronghold has Terraforming Mars at 3.
Right.
And that at 11. And it just keeps climbing.
Right.
I think, like I said, it got overshadowed at the beginning, and people are finally getting... Like, you just got it... You just played it this year. It's like... It's still coming around.
That is true.
I haven't played it yet.
And the designer, Alexander Pfister, he did
Pfister.
He did Blackout Hong Kong, which apparently is also like amazing. And I really want to try that. And I guess his new one this year is Maracaibo.
Didn't Pfister do
He did Isle of Skye.
Terraforming Mars?
No.
Nope,
he did Isle of Skye though. Funny enough. So that's funny that this one was like 48 and you had 49. He did Port Royale, Oh My Goods, those were all like card games, and Mombasa, then Isle of Skye in 2015, Great Western Trail, and then Blackout in 2018, and then this year he did Maracaibo. So he's kind of he's definitely one of those names that you kind of want to keep in the back of your mind to pay attention, because I still need to get Blackout Hong Kong, and then now seeing that I want to try Maracaibo.
Right.
But yeah, that's my 48, Great Western Trail.
My number 48 is new to the list. And I know you like this game. It's from Lucky Duck Games, Chronicles of Crime.
Shit game.
This one is...
I didn't know you played it.
totally unique. I have all the stuff for it now.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I knew you. Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew you had that. I wasn't sure if you played it yet.
I haven't played Redview yet, but I've played
Neither
Noir, and I've...
Oh, you did play Noir?
Yeah, and I've done... I'm part of Noir. And then I've done all the one, and then I have the virtual glass deals, too, which doesn't work for my phone because I have this case on.
Oh, that sucks.
So I have to take my phone out of the case.
Gotcha.
But anyway, Chronicles of Crime, it was the first crime game that came out, because it actually came out before Detective, I believe, didn't it? Right around the same time.
Same year.
Same year, right?
But, yeah.
But this one, what was unique with it is it has the app-driven deal where you actually get to physically look at the crime scene. You have one person that looks at the crime scene, and they kind of talk about the clues, and then there's cards that the other people at the table are trying to grab out and everything, and it's really intuitive because you can go to other people and you scan the little scan codes, and it asks, and it knows to read. It's a good design on the app, big time.
Like, because in every single other game, like Detective City of Angel kind of lets you go back and forth, but like Sherlock, Detectives, Modern Crime board game, once you like read it, that's it. Like in Chronicles of Crime, it's like, hey, do you know what happened to like that knife? No, I've never seen it before. Then you find it has their fingerprints. You can go back and be like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And then it has, you can actually go back to deal with something.
Right. And it's just really it's just interesting. It was very innovative.
Yeah. Don't let the art fool you. Like, some of those stories are really fucked up. Like one of the, I think it's the second one that you can do from the base game. Like, once you really get into it and figure it out, you're like, what the hell? Like, I thought this was like for kids.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they and I think they're using that success of that app, and I think that they're using that same technology with that
Time of Legends,
Destinies, because it's going to be the same. You're going to be scanning and doing different stuff with it.
Yep.
So they're really stretching their horizons with that app. I hope they keep coming out with stuff for Chronicles of Crime.
I would hope so.
They have those 3 deals.
Yep. Welcome to Redview, and then the Noir one. Yeah, I really hope they keep supporting it,
because it's just awesome.
That's true.
Being able to look around and do all that stuff is...
Yeah, it's super innovative.
Yeah.
Good deal. My 47 was number 32, so fell 15 spots in 2017. What?
My 47 was my 32 also. That's weird.
That is weird. That'd be funny if it was the same game.
Yeah.
In 2017, I hadn't played it, or I know it was out, and that is Viniculture. So Viniculture is a Viniculture. Okay.
No.
Viniculture is a game. It's a worker placement game about winemaking, and it's one that I absolutely love. Like, I love all the expansions for it. The Essential Edition, Tuscany, and all that just adds so much more of cards you can get through the different seasons. I like the fact that you do have different seasons that allow you to do different things. I really like that you can create basically tools on your player board that help you, grab certain, vines that give you different types of grapes, and then you can combine grapes to be able to either make them like really good strong reds, whites, or pinks, and then sparkling, because then you're going to want to get orders, which are going to get you your points for completing them. This is just one of those extremely solid Stonemaier worker placement games, and the first edition just had spring, summer, and winter. And then with the Essential Edition, it adds spring, summer, fall, and winter. So you have certain actions. And what's really cool is that when you place your workers, you don't go through spring, okay, get your people back. So you have to really plan ahead and be like, I want to do stuff in winter. So you don't want to spend all your workers up until then. You just have to live with the choices that you make. I've heard a lot of people say that they think the game is extremely random by the cards that you can draw. I mean, they're not inherently wrong. I don't think that disqualifies this from being a good game, because every card is good. So just go and get those cards, and then, they're going to help you. They're going to be certain allies that are like, hey, I'm a loan officer. Here's 10 coins. And you're like, oh, great, or something. It's like, well, everyone has that same opportunity. They also added the Grande Worker, which was a really cool mechanic that it's like, well, normally I can stop you from going somewhere, but if you have your Grande worker, he can go anywhere, and that's a really nice kind of touch because you want to hold on to him. So that's my number 47, Viniculture.
All right, my number 47 was 32 last year and 16 the year before.
Okay.
It's my favorite Red Raven game.
Oh, okay. Above and Below. Did you hear that they're making another expansion next year?
For Above and Below?
Yeah.
I have not
That's
heard
what
that.
one of the guys commented. He was saying that they're making an expansion in 2020 for Above and Below.
Interesting.
So, while you talk about it, I'll see if I can
wonder
find
if it'll be Kickstarter. Or if
it might be, probably. All their other games have been.
Wow,
so.
that's awesome to know.
Right?
Well, Above and Below, it's was the first of this kind of his storybook games, I guess, with Red Raven, because I don't think he did storybook stuff with City of Iron.
Nope.
And the other one that
Sleeping Gods. Oh no.
No, the one before that.
No idea.
The one that they just did a second edition. Not the Ancient Ones, maybe.
Ancient Worlds?
Ancient Worlds, that's it. But anyway, on this one, you're getting your characters. You have your starting characters. You have your own little village board. And you are collecting resources. You can send them out on adventures. Excuse me. But... and as you use them, they get tired, so you're moving them over. If you send them out on a deal, then they go way over here, and then they have to slowly work themselves back into being useful. But as you are getting resources, you can buy cards for your village, and they can go underground, or they can go above ground, above and below. And you are building up your civilization. There's a set collection aspect on stuff. Then you also, when you go into on an adventure, the one part that was a little weak in this, the one part thing that I wish maybe the expansion, maybe they'll do something with that.
Yeah, what I'm finding about it is it just says Ryan had mentioned that they're gonna have some type of improvement or expansion in 2020. There's really no details.
Well, improvement or expansion to me says maybe the stories will be better. Maybe because the Near and Far stories, that was the one part of that I liked, but I don't like the game of Near and Far necessarily. Yeah. These stories, you'd read the story, you'd pick A or B, whatever you want, try to do the skill check, and then if you passed, you got this. If you failed, you got that. There wasn't really any resolution text or anything. So, which if you have a good group and you're playing, you can always just come up with something, I guess. Sure. But so if there's a weak point to it, that would be what it is. And with the Near and Far Kickstarter, there was a whole nother adventure book for Above and Below, depending on what comes out with if there is any more expansions or whatever, because there hasn't been any expansions of this for several years now.
Yeah. Above and Below was my 104 this year. Near and Far.
But you can recruit more people, which obviously need more workers to be able to do more deals. It's what I would call an elegant style game because the art's really nice. Of course, Red Raven does all the art, the design, and the publishing. So all of his games look the same.
They do. But I think they're all kind of in the same world, or it feels like.
Yeah, I think they are. Even City of Iron was part of the same.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I'd like to see him kind of branch out into a bigger, grandiose game, versus Near and Far is probably his biggest game in terms of world building anyway. Yeah. So I'd like to definitely see him create an RPG kind of thing. I think that'd be really cool.
Yep.
All right, good deal. My 46 was 44 last year, so it fell just 2 spots. And in 2017, it was number 27, and that is Imperial Settlers. Imperial Settlers, as we've mentioned multiple times before, is kind of your engine building Tableau kind of style game, a civilization, card game, where each person plays a certain faction. And I remember last time we played it, those decks were so
it was nuts.
We're so overbloated. You had 3 cards out, and because all I did was shovel every expansion in there, and then once we played it again, I took them all out and I just left them alone. Then I started playing solo, and I was like, dear God, this is way better. But you have a bunch of different things. You have Romans, Amazons, Atlanteans, Japanese, like these different factions that you are just trying to build your tableau. And then you have a left side, which are your faction cards, which are typically what you're trying to build because they're worth the most points at the end of the game, and they give you the most bang for your buck. But you're also drafting for common cards that kind of just slowly, temporarily give you the resources that you want, and then they're cannon fodder. You just scrap them to build your faction buildings. It's such a streamlined, neat game, and now they're probably done supporting it. They're going to start doing Empires of the North, which at this point I like them both equally. Like I definitely didn't like Empires as much, but playing it more, and then I played it with a few friends when I went down to Texas, and I was like, yeah, this is really good because I like the gameplay of Empires more, like the fact that you keep your resources, that your workers just get spent and they come back, and then you select your actions. But I like the card play of Imperial Settlers more. Right. So, and I like the solo variant for Empires more. But it's one of those things that I think I will keep both and enjoy both equally, and they are different enough that you can own both. So that's my number 46, Imperial Settlers.
My number 46 was 45 last year.
All right.
And 126 the year before that.
Damn.
And it is the old classic worker placement game Stone Age.
Why'd it jump so high from 100 to 45?
Well, because I hadn't played it for a while, and then I started playing it again after. I want to get the anniversary edition.
With the winter board and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't even know if it changes anything.
There's a couple. It had some expansions in the box.
I see. Okay.
So, but anyway, so Stone Age, it's pretty simple worker placement. I mean, you start off with a certain number of workers. If you place 2 at the Love Hut, you'll get a worker. And that's how you build up your worker deals.
You get a little baby worker.
Right. You can go different places to get build buildings or whatever. If you want to get resources, you can put however many out there you want, and then you roll dice, and you have to do a division problem to see how much wood or stone or whatever you get. There's boats over at the side that have different stuff on them, with tools or whatever. You can put them out there and do whatever it says to get that.
Right.
There's your scores generally are pretty high in this game. You're building these different buildings, and I think it ends once you build.
I don't remember. I played the game once.
But it's a good. It was one of those. It's older game, but it still works.
I mean, it's essentially
really
your gateway worker placement game.
Right, and it's simple, but yet you still have to think about it. It's strategic because it's a challenging game when you go because of all the math, and you still could get hosed. That's what the tools are for, because they can add numbers to your dice and stuff like that. So that's your manipulation of your dice and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Stone Age is a classic, and as long as I'm still playing it, it's probably going to be around in that area.
Yeah. All right, good deal. My number 45 is new to the list, and it just came out this year, and it's another detective game called Detective City of Angels. So, this one skyrocketed to the top based off, one, its genre. I love the Sherlock Holmes kind of whodunit, trying to figure out, the mystery. That's always exciting, but this one flipped it on its head and actually made it it's not really a one versus all. The chisel, they even talk about in the rules where it's if the chisel's just being an asshole, their whole point is to make it fun for everyone else. So if you're really just being aggressive and giving no one anything, then it's they're going to get discouraged and not play. So you have to, it's Detective the role player game. You're role playing. The chisel's the DM, while the other players are competitive gumshoe, detectives, and they're going from certain locations wherever they really feel like they need to go to get information, and I can like role play as like Tommy Two Guns and be like, I ain't telling you shit, coppa. And then they're just like, what the fuck you say to me? And then he's like, oh god, no, here, like, look, I killed her. And it's like, yeah, you won, you figured it out. But it's so much fun. And then what makes this game even better is that if you don't want that, you know, that role player, you can play it fully cooperative, and it works the exact same way, and it's just as good. Like, it feels like, oh, you know, it's a Sherlock or Chronicles of Crime or something like that for the cooperative nature. But I do think that what makes this game unique and what kind of raises it up to all the way to 45 is that role-playing kind of aspect. That it's super fun. I like the cutthroat kind of nature of the competitive players, and then the different types of stories that range from, you know, there's the easy green ones, medium yellow ones, and hard red ones. And they're about to release even more expansions for it. So I'm excited. I love these games. So that's my 45.
All right. My 45 is Rajas of the Ganges.
God, that game is super bad. I've never played it.
I was going to say, I didn't think you had. It was 60 last year, so it jumped up 15. And I want to play it more.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a thing on Miniature Market. It's like a little expansion set thing or something. But what this game is it's a beautiful game. Has nice translucent dice and all that stuff. And it's you're going to be doing dice placement type things. And pretty much how you figure out how you're going to win is you have 2 tracks. So from one part on the board, you have tracks that go counterclockwise and one that goes clockwise. One is money and the other is fame or
what's this game
honor. Rajas. It's Rajas. Rajas.
I thought you said Rises of the Ganges. I'm like, I am not finding.
But what happens is you have these 2 tracks, right? So you can choose just to go all money, or you can choose to. I think it's fame, or I can't remember what the other one is.
Okay.
But anyway, what happens is you win if you intersect.
Oh, interesting.
So like you could go all money, but you're going to have to go all the way around and intersect with this, or you can do half and half and meet, you know, so, and it's the first person, it's like almost like a race game in a way, because it's the first person to intersect their deals wins.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, there's a lot of options, like you can choose to go all one way or all the other, you know.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really neat game, and it looks gorgeous on
I
the
was just
table
looking
and
at
stuff. But I want to play it more because I know it would probably keep climbing. I know my wife likes it, but I kind of hope they keep support it, maybe, or something, or do something with it. But it's been out for a few years, and it's
2017.
Yeah, so, but it's a good one.
Awesome.
Rajas of the Ganges.
Good deal. My number 44 was number 29 last year, so it fell 15 spots. It actually might climb back up because I just finally played its 3rd expansion. And it was number 61 in 2017, so it rose even more. And I know this will be way higher on your list, and that's 5 Tribes.
5 Tribes.
So 5 Tribes. Have you played the Whims of the Sultan expansion yet?
That's the latest one.
That's the latest one, yeah.
A year or so ago?
Yeah, I think it was a year.
I don't think I played that
So, first of all, 5 Tribes was always a game that I stayed away from because it was like, it's like Mancala. And I'm like, yeah, but Mancala sucks. So, then I played it first time with you because I was like, you know what, sure, why not? And just it's not a point salad, but you have a lot of ways to get points. And I like the games that it's like, oh, your money is your victory points, or the thing that you use to spend is victory points. I love having that even if it's not a major decision, like having that as a decision.
Well, and there being that auctioning for player order, because then you're wagering victory.
You're just like, I want to go first. Yep, that's 10 victory points. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Never
So
it is, and this game we've talked about many times is just sheer analysis paralysis, because and I think the Artisans of Nikala actually kind of quell that a little bit because you don't have 25 areas you can go to. You have 20 or something because you can be blocked off by the
mountains and
the gorge. But typically it's just like, okay, you pick one tile, pick everyone up, and then you have to drop them, and then you have your final meeple that you drop in a spot has to match a color that's already there. You take all those and then do the action of either the meeple that you took or of the...
You can do both.
You can do both. There we go. So you can do, and the action of the tile. And there's ways you can either get goods, which is your set collection, which can get you a bunch of points. There's ways that, like the red ones, you can kill other meeples and
however many reds you take
is
how many squares away
you can kill someone. And if you do that, if you kill off the last person on the board, you can claim it. Has a bunch of area control. There's gins that you can get that are like really good bonuses.
Some are a lot better than others.
Yeah, for sure. I think there are a lot of them are situational though.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some that people are going to kind of fight for. And like we mentioned, the artisans and the Kala add like special treasure tokens that you can siphon through that can get you a bunch of victory points off of that. It adds the gorge, which is an unblock or it's a unpassable tile, and then the mountains. And the whims of the Sultan is really cool because they create an even more you alright?
Sorry, yeah. I have a little bit of a tickle, sorry.
Gotcha. They include even more area control because now you're trying to control for cities.
Isn't that one where you can lose control of a... Can in that expansion? I think I read in that expansion like you can actually lose control of a place you have control of.
I don't remember,
but I don't know if that for
because
fact.
The one that's sticking out for me the most is that there are these Sultan cards that you can get, but there's also the tiles that the more cities that you control, it's like a bunch of points that you can get by the end of the game. So. It added enough that like made the game even better, and it didn't really bog it down. So 5 Tribes is a solid game. I always enjoy playing it. It's really good with any number of players too. So
as long as you understand that there's going to be
some downtime between turns. But even then, I think it's one of those games that everyone's kind of like
you're gaming for your turn.
Yeah,
but then. Also know that you need to be looking at 2 or 3 different
exactly because there might it might not even be that someone takes your spot. It's like someone might move meeples and you're like,
and then
it
ruins
okay.
or it helps you.
Yeah, so 5 Tribes is solid. My number 44.
All right, my number 44 was 38 last year.
Okay,
it's Thanos Rising.
Gross.
Do you not like this one?
It's fine. Gross is an exaggeration. I would play it. I just thought it was difficult just by randomness alone. But
it's your prototypical. I mean, it's a cooperative dice and card game based on Infinity War, the movie. You have Thanos standing out in the middle. You actually have the components are kind of cool because you have the Gauntlet of power out here, and you have the crystals, one of each color of the Infinity Stones, and the object is you're going to put a deck of cards. There's going to be some his henchmen in there, and there's going to be a bunch of your typical Marvel heroes or vehicles or weapons, whatever, and you're going to put them out around Thanos, and you need to kill, depending on the difficulty you choose, let's say 7 henchmen. If you kill the 7 henchmen before he gets his winning condition, then you win. He doesn't win if he gets all the Infinity Stones, but it's practically impossible.
Might as well.
Because every stone he gets, you flip over a deal, and it just is a super powerful deal. And how those go off is you'll roll 2 dice every turn between people. And it'll say, okay, Thanos stays facing this direction, or he'll turn left or right. And then that color fire will happen. Because if he doesn't have the stone, then you're going to put little cubes on that color. And then once it fills up, so you have your player abilities are going to be, some of them are good at taking cubes away. Some of them are good at attacking, different stuff. What you can do is because they'll take damage out here too, wherever he's facing will take damage out on the board, and they can die. So you lose if I can't remember the exact number. If X number of heroes dies, you also lose. There's a lot of different ways to lose this game. It's a difficult game. The first time we beat it, of course, was with Kat and you, because I hadn't beat it any of the times before that.
Kat's somehow lucky in some way.
So but they have different variations of this game now that's come out. There's the Harry Potter one.
Oh yeah.
With the Death Eaters Rising. Yep. I actually have a guy overseas that is getting me a copy of Star Wars: The Dark Side Rising.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's going to be the exact same game as Thanos, but there's going to be the big Vader in the
neat.
middle, and then Star Wars characters.
Star Wars.
It's the same game, just rethemed.
Yeah.
So I'll get that eventually. It can't be released overseas in the U.S.
Okay.
Because they don't have the Star Wars license. Because Fantasy Flight has the Star Wars license.
Oh, gotcha.
Here, but they're doing it overseas, and then people are bringing it over.
Gotcha.
So I'll get that eventually. But it's just a fun, almost like a beer and pretzels. I mean, it's thinky.
Yeah.
But you really don't have to take it seriously. I mean,
right,
it's
true.
a tough game. You just roll dice, play, pass it, roll dice. But you start off the game picking a headquarters and a deal. So you're like your Avengers headquarters in Captain America, or you're in your Black Panther and wherever. Wakanda, and just different stuff like that. And you get more dice depending on who you've recruited, because you can recruit people and it gives you more handfuls of dice to do more stuff. I mean, it's just a total Ameritrash dice rolling fest.
Yeah.
But it's a good one. Good cooperative game.
Awesome.
And easy to learn.
That is true. My 43 was number 12 in 2018.
Wow.
Fell 31 spots. And was number 24 in 2017, so it's been falling back a little bit. And it's just mainly because I haven't played it as much. But that is Dead of Winter. So, Dead of Winter is still kind of I wouldn't really say iconic game, but it was revolutionary at the time because of the crossroads mechanic. Mm-hmm. And we've mentioned it multiple times. Dead of Winter has been a game that's been talked about, for quite some time. But it's your zombie survival game. But what's neat about this is a couple things. One, it's a traitor. Like there could be a traitor in the game, which is really nice because the zombies aren't ever really the problem. It's the people that you're playing with, because they might be hoarding resources, or they might be objectively trying to get the game to fail so they can win. And you never quite have that trust. Because everyone has a secret objective that makes them feel like do traitorous things, and there's ways in the game to find out, what's in people's hands. So like they could have a secret objective that makes them hoard fuel, and you have an ability that lets you look at their hand, and you're like, why the fuck are you hoarding fuel? So then you automatically distrust them. So that's a really fun aspect of the game. But then there's the crossroads cards that are situation based. So they have a trigger on someone's turn that if a person does a certain thing, then an event happens. And I always thought that was really cool because it made the game feel more real, I guess, other than an event always happening. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to go to the grocery store. Aha! But now this happens. Or they also took outside of game elements to throw in. If someone yawns or pees, then it's like, this happens.
Or if you have Felicia Day out in the...
Or you have Felicia Day. Oh, then, yeah. Then
she is every name.
She is every name, yeah. And it just triggers, like, a bunch of freaking events. I personally like it when the events don't trigger as much. But I know other people who do like it whenever they go off all the time. But that's this guy. And then the Long Night expansion, I think, is kind of a must because it adds just so many more variants of, like, the lab variant that creates unique types of zombies. So now the zombies are kind of a problem. You can actually get upgrades for the colony, like weapons and things like that make it really cool. I have never done the Warring Colonies. I have no desire to do Warring Colonies. It makes Dead of Winter a team game. I just think that was a waste of time. But yeah, Dead of Winter is probably my favorite zombie game, just because it's also not about zombies. So that's my 43.
All right. My number 43. Why did it close? My 43 was 30 last year and 29 the year before that. So it's just slipped just a little bit each time. And it's Istanbul.
Oh, okay.
Did you get a chance to play Istanbul yet?
Yes, I did. It is really good. I want the expansions.
I need to get the expansions. I think that's why it's sliding just a little bit, because I haven't played it for a while. But it's got a really neat... do you randomize your
I didn't
right?
the
first time
time.
it tells you not
Yeah.
to. It tells you to lay it out. But when you randomize your locations, you have a stack of discs, and when you move, you leave a disc behind. Kind of it's almost like the Five Tribes type deal, but it's not exactly, because when you move to these different places and where you stop, you can do whatever the action of that tile is. But then you need to backtrack to pick up to move other spaces. You can't move past your limitation.
Yep.
Field. But there's also these. Oh God, I can't remember their names. There's two random purple and a white
Yellow
one, or purple and yellow. I can't remember. But
It's like
they're
dummy
moving around.
players.
One of them's like a deputy and a they're the two
Oh,
jobs
I know what you're
that are
talking
moving
about.
around.
Yes,
and you have to
yeah.
do stuff to bribe them away or whatever. You can be arrested by other players. The objective of the game is to gain X number of rubies.
Yep.
That's how you win the game. So you're collecting resources to be able to do. There's tons. I say tons. There's a bunch of different ways of getting a ruby, but there's all these hoops you have to jump through to get them. There's one that's just simply go here, you can get it. But then there's other ones you have to trade whatever.
Yeah, like a certain number.
Pay a certain number of money to get it, or and so it's kind of a race game in a way. But I think if you can get to the fountain, I think that collects. Yeah,
the fountain
tile
pulls
that
everyone.
pulls all your discs left behind to you. So it's just a really. I used this term earlier. It's an elegant game, and the expansions just add more tiles and more stuff
variation.
to mix stuff up right.
When did that come out?
Istanbul, I would guess.
Not
I was
Constantinople.
going to say 13 or 14.
Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Or 15. 13, 14, or 15.
If I could spell it right. 2014.
Yeah, but
I guess I made a dice game.
They did, and people like it.
Yeah.
But I've heard if you've never played Istanbul, you love the dice game. But if you played Istanbul,
you don't
like the dice game. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it's if you're used to how to play Istanbul, it's just.
Yeah, it is overall 102.
Yeah, it's a really solid game, and it got introduced to me several years ago, and I say several, it came out in 2014, but and it's just this really solid game.
Yeah.
The cover is really boring.
It really is. Like, when Kat and I played it the first time, like, you kept telling me about it, and then I kept hearing about it, and I just finally pulled the trigger and got it, and then I was like, yeah, this is really good, so I do want the expansion. All right. My number 42 was number 26 in 2018, so it fell 16 spots, and I didn't have it in 2017, and that is Role Player. Role Player is basically a D&D-esque kind of game. But you are making a character, and that's all you're doing, barring expansion. So it is a dice drafting game. I think it came it was a lot of people were comparing it to Sagrada because they came out around the same time, but they're radically different games. But you are drafting dice to be able to slot into your attributes, and you have basically like a backstory that you are trying to meet a certain number of conditions. Like, hey, to do this, you need to meet, strength at 14, dex at 16, wisdom at 8, and things like that. And so you're going to be drafting this dice to put into your attributes to try and meet those conditions. And at the end, whoever builds their character the best gets, you get victory points for meeting certain conditions, because you get points for your alignment, you get points for the gear that you can go and buy, you get points for your attributes, you get points for like your background. It's just it's so fun, because like a lot of things I really love about D&D is making the character, and your attributes when you place a die also have a special ability. Like, one of them lets you swap 2 dice. Another attribute lets you take a die and rotate it. So if you have a 1, you can turn it to a 6 or something like that. So that's really exciting and tactical and thinky to try and decide where you want to put a die and how you want to manipulate it. Which is really cool, because that game would suck if you couldn't do anything with the dice.
I know, it would be brutal.
So then you have a market phase. You can go into the market, which gives you like set collection bonuses or special abilities that will give you an edge in certain things. Now, if it was just that, like, it probably wouldn't be even at 42, but there Monsters and Minions expansion, that's the only one out at the moment, lets you do something with your character. Because base game, you just made it and that was it. Now, instead of buying something, you can go fight a monster, and you can get points for that. And if you beat a certain monster, you get to look at like a special, like
the location, their
weakness. Was there like a weakness? There are 3 cards because at the end there's a big bad boss that you fight. Everyone fights it, and when you beat certain monsters, you get to look at them, and then they're eventually. So it's like, hey, if you have this type of weapon or something, then you have like an edge to it to be able to fight it. And the final boss, you get points if you're the one who dealt the most damage and things like that. So that's really exciting. Then in the future, they're gonna have a Fiends and Familiars, which just
that's Fiends and Familiars.
Fiends and Familiars, and then the other one after that is Adventures, which you take your character and you go. And you actually role play and have scenarios and events like that. And we did a play testing for it, which was really, really cool. So, very intrigued to see how they do that.
Yep.
Because we had base characters that were already made, so I'm hoping that you can take a character.
You'll be able to.
Okay, so
that's a guarantee. They've already said that.
So,
but another cool thing that, and this is just a little feature they didn't have to do, is that your character board is female male.
Yeah.
So you can choose even the rate of the gender.
The gender of I mean, unfortunately, they're kind of not as up to date because there's like 70 genders now. But yeah, I mean they're limited with how many boards they can make. I get it. So that's my number 42 role player.
All right, my number 42 was 34 last year and 13 the year before that.
It's trash.
Well, I don't own it anymore, and it's one of those ones that I sold that I just kicked myself. I was trying to grab for money back then, and it was a hot big sell, and it's Blood Rage.
Gotcha.
I sold because I had that that pledge, and I got like $400 for everything. And it's just like somebody offered it to me. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But now I'm like, man, I wish I still had it.
I have it
because I don't want to buy just the retail version.
Yeah,
I want to have all the cool
peasant
stuff.
retail version
Because I want Fenrir and all that stuff.
So I can break the game.
But anyway, so it's slipping because I haven't played it as much. I mean, a friend of mine has it, you have it, but I played my friends more recently. I still love the game.
It's so
the card
good.
drafting, the area control, just the different variations,
different strategies.
Yeah, people, Loki strategy. Whatever.
It's my favorite.
It's my favorite too, but it's not unbeatable.
Correct.
You
feel like it is.
That it was right, but
I feel like with Fenrir, it's a little bit more unbeatable. But if someone happens to get it before you, then it's like, okay, so Loki's strategy is not going to work.
Right. So this was Simon's. In my opinion, I know they had their $1 million Kickstarters with zombie sides and stuff, but as far as their best game, like from the ground up game, everything, this I think was it.
Yep, it's
like we talked about it before. I think this is what the ghost they're chasing still.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, still though, I think Rising Sun's better, but
I've never played Rising Sun.
That's terms of theme and negotiation more than anything. Right. But in all reality, like Blood Rage is so fucking good.
I'm gonna be all over Ankh when it comes out or the Kickstarter starts. I'm in.
Yeah, no matter what
on that because I don't like feudal Japan. Like I'm gonna be all in no matter what on.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm not the biggest Egyptian guy, but it's not because I don't like the theme. It's because I don't know jack shit about it. Right. But I'm always intrigued by Egyptian themes. So
Blood Rage. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful game.
It
Eric
is.
Lang's. I shouldn't say it. It's probably his.
It's probably his masterpiece.
It's the one that put him on the map. I mean, I know he did like Chaos in the New World or Old World and all that stuff, but this is.
But here's
this is the one that got a mainstream.
Blood Rage isn't out of print, so Chaos in the Old World is. So gotta say,
damn you, Game Workshop.
Pretty much. Yeah. All right, and the last one for this segment is one of the best deck building games that I have, and that's because don't look at it. And
You only
that's
own so many. I mean,
I know, right? Yeah, it's one of two. But Tyrants of the Underdark.
oh, that wasn't what I was thinking.
Oh, what were you thinking?
I was thinking it was either Marvel or Aeon's End.
I feel like I already said Marvel.
I didn't know.
It's been, yeah. But anyway, Tyrants of the Underdark is a game that was actually introduced to me around the same time Aeon's End was. And what makes this one really cool is it's not just deck building. It's a lot of area control and kind of backstabby using the cards that you're drafting. Unfortunately, this is a game that I haven't played in quite some time, in a hot minute. But I will never get rid, because it is so good. In fact, I might actually play it tomorrow. But real quick, it was number 23 in 2018, so it fell 18 spots, and number 29 in 2017. And it fell literally due to just lack of play, but there's just so many avenues to victory. Unfortunately, they basically quit supporting it, which also sucks. Like, they had one... I don't know.
Because it's got a fan base.
Yeah, like, has a fan base, the theme, like, I mean, I guess they just ran out of, like, Underdark kind of,
I haven't
classes.
played it yet, but I've heard really good stuff on it.
I guarantee you would like it. But it does kind of one of those Elysium mechanics where it's like, some cards are worth like some points if they're just in your deck, but you can have ways to put them into like your circle, your inner circle, which they're even worth more points at the end of the game. You are vying for area control. You have certain ways to kind of swap out people's pieces, to kill those, to remove their cards and things like that. You get constant points if you control certain areas. It's really cool. Production quality and look of the game is not the best.
Right.
Like it's the same company that did, I think, the Firefly board game.
Not Cryptozoic. Gale Force 9?
Yes. Yep, Gale Force 9. So, yeah, they don't make like the most extravagant looking games, but this game is one that I've been in love with since I got it. I got it actually in a trade. I got it in a really good trade years ago. So yeah, Tyrants of the Underdark, my 41.
All right. My 41 is a game I know you don't like. You've
Good.
Openly said you don't like this
Good.
game. It was 51 last year, so it actually climbed 10.
That's
but it was
a real
27 the year before that.
Oh,
So it's kind of bouncing around
it's
a
a
little
real
bit.
bummer.
It stays up here because it's one of my wife's favorite
Nope,
games.
because you hate me.
And
It's
we
in
have
spite of me. You're like,
and I have everything for it. It's that nothing comes out for it anymore.
Good.
I own all the cards, but we've tried the newest expansion I finally put in this last time, and it was pretty cool. It
I
added
have
some
no
stuff.
idea what game you're talking.
Seasons.
Oh, okay.
Seasons.
I'm like, what fucking is this game?
It is an interesting mix. Like, it has like magic feel, like magic. The cards all have, there's all the symbology. It has kind of like a Magic the Gathering kind of stuff.
Here's a real quick thing. I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. Even though you say I don't like it, I've played it like 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I played it at 2, and I didn't like Magic at the time.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going against the game.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Playing with 2's okay. You want at least 3.
Yeah, and I still don't know how I'd feel about like the 3 deck kind of thing. Like that just
predetermining your order.
Yeah.
That is I mean, you can, it takes a while to get. That's the first thing you learn. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Because what'll happen is you're going to do drafting 7 Wonders style. You're going to end up with 9 cards, I believe, after you draft. And then you have to determine, because the game takes 3 years. So there's a circle
in
out
real
here.
life. He's still playing the game.
there's this ring out here, and one rotation around with the deal is a year. So what you'll do is you're going to place 3 sets of cards. You're going to do... These cards will only be available once we hit year 3. So those are ones you have to know, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to put these out because they cost a lot of resources. These are more late-game cards. Set those there. These are mid-game cards, and then you have ones you think you can really get out early. You put that, and those will be what start in your hand.
These bulky-ass dice.
When it's their turn, you roll these big dice. So if you're in winter or spring, whatever color, there's red, green, blue, and yellow. Mm-hmm. You'll roll the number of dice plus 1 for however many players there are, and they have different symbols. And starting with the first player, you're going to take one of those dice and set it on your board, go around, and then you do whatever it says. It's gain resources, whatever.
Well,
but the
speed.
dice that didn't get picked, there's dots on the bottom, and then however many dots there are, that's how many spots you move. So when you switch seasons, and then you have playing cards, which they're either spells or familiars. The familiars will stay by you and be worth points at the end of the game, and have abilities or whatever. There's also items, I think, that'll stay down here by you too.
Yeah.
But then there's the actual spells that'll do stupid stuff. You can transmute, so you're collecting these resources on your board. You can only hold up to 10 total things unless you have an extension. And you can sell. So there's a transmute symbol on the dice, and depending on what time of year you're in, water sells for a lot of victory points if you're in the summer, and vice versa, and stuff like that. So you can choose to sell these to make, and there's so many cards now with all the expansions that you can really get some cool stuff going.
Who made this?
Art's really cool. This is Lillibud, so Asmodee.
Okay.
It's the same company, because they have another game, Lords of Zidit. It's in the same universe and stuff. It's the same company that did Dice Forge.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Okay.
But anyway, so seasons, it's been out probably since 2013, 2012, something like that. It's been out for quite a while, but it's a really cool game. If you even just the core game itself is enough to keep you busy, because there's a ton of cards in there.
Awesome.
But yep, seasons. Remember 41.
Seasons.
I had my copter up.
Sure. Your retainer fell out. That's our 50 through 41. Stick around for the rest of the top 100. They only get better from here. My list does anyway. It was seasons ending.
Getting ready to start really getting nice.
Right. But anyway, stick around for that. I hope you guys are enjoying. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.